And the NFL Schedule Release Show, presented by Verizon, is live on the air on NFL Network. I am Rich Eisen, sheltered in place. Thankful that you are here with us tonight, and hoping that my children don't barge in here at any moment. And if they do, I'll say, pull up a chair and let Dad tell you about 256 regular season games that are all in order now, weeks 1 through 17 of a 2020 NFL season. And on behalf of all of us here at NFL Network, the hardworking men and women behind the scenes, all sheltered in place, putting this 4-hour live extravaganza together, we, again, thank you for being here with us. And we are fully aware of what's going on in the outside world and how the virus that we are all battling and we are all thinking about. We're all thinking of everybody on the front lines who are battling it and all the people who need help or may need a break from it over the next 4 hours. We're here for you, and we're also very well aware that the schedule that we are talking about tonight may not start as scheduled or be as scheduled, and we'll talk about that with Troy Vincent, the EVP of Football Operations, in a moment here on this show. But for the next 4 hours, again, we are operating as if we've got a schedule for the 2020 season that's going to go off without a hitch. We're all knocking on wood for that, and the people who are joining me here off the top, right here on this cast of thousands, Steve Mariucci, my compadre, sitting in front of a bunch of books we definitely know he has not read. Kurt Warner, my Hall of Fame quarterback, joining us from his shelter place in Arizona, and our GOAT, and I'm not just referring to what's that beard on his face. He is my Hall of Fame buddy, Deion Sanders. All of us here live on NFL Network. And now that I've shots fired all in your direction, I now send things you to Steve Mariucci and Kurt and Prime. What did you guys look for first when the 2020 schedule was placed in your hands? Steve?
Well, Rich, when I was a coach, I used to look for a lot of different things about who we were playing. But as an analyst now for 15 years, I like looking at the last two teams that played in the Super Bowl. And you're talking about the Chiefs and the 49ers. And how do they start? Do they pick up where they left off? And the Kansas City Chiefs will host a huge game against the Houston Texans. We remember the divisional playoff game last year where the Texans got out 21-0, and then, the Chiefs scored 7 touchdowns in a row. And let's remember, this is the opening Thursday night of the season. It's an honor to play. You're the only show in town. Everybody's watching you. I had the thrill of coaching in that game in 2003, or 2002, excuse me. And then you have the San Francisco 49ers. They host Arizona. But you know what? Arizona gave them all they could handle last year, scored 25 and 26 points with a rookie quarterback, Kyler Murray, and they signed DeAndre Hopkins, and Larry comes back, and then Isaiah Simmons is there. This is going to be a great matchup. Don't count out the Cardinals. We'll find out, Kurt, if the 49ers have that Super Bowl hangover.
And, Coach, as a fan of the game, but as you guys know, more a fan of the quarterback position. That's the first thing I look at when the schedule comes out is let me see those top matchups of signal callers. And we mentioned a few at the top, right? We get Watson and Mahomes right off the bat on Thursday night. And then we get a little Baker Mayfield, Lamar Jackson week 1. And then maybe the nightcap, the thing that's going to top it off in the afternoon is that Brady versus Breeze. We knew they were going to play twice this year, but on the opening Sunday of the season, the top 2 quarterbacks in terms of pass yards in the history of our game. I can't wait for football to start, and everybody is going to have their TV glued to that game as we see 2 of the best that have ever played the game throwing the pigskin around and starting the season on a bang, Deion. So that is what I'm looking forward to. There's a lot of them throughout the year, but we got a bunch of them right there in week number 1.
I like where you went with that, Kurt, because when I think about Watson and Mahomes, I think about, well, who's going to get paid first? Then I think about Breeze and Brady. Oh, my God, who is the unadulterated GOAT? That's a game, that's a ticket that I would love to buy. But I think about when I played this game, man, I didn't care who was on the darn schedule. I wanted the darn matchup. Forget the team. Guys, look at the schedule and look at the matchup. If you're a cornerback, you want to say, I wonder if I got to deal with Julio Early, DeAndre Hopkins, who I got to deal with in this league that can flat out go, because I have that matchup. I guarantee you, if you're on the offensive line, you're trying to find out where is Aaron Donald? Where is he? I got to deal with this guy in week one. You think about matchups. That's what I thought about, and the majority of the players, that's what they're thinking about.
And then in terms of division matchups, you also have Eagles, Redskins in the first week, Bears and Lions. You want to talk about who's the starting quarterback of the Chicago Bears. That drama plays out right away. And Joe Burrow and the Bengals, we're assuming he's going to be the starting quarterback from week one. That is an late afternoon game on CBS. The Chargers, who might be starting Justin Herbert, you never know. That's another week one matchup. And then, of course, we turn our eyes to the Tom Brady left and the New England Patriots. And this is the Patriots team that we all know is entering a brave new world that Belichick and the rest of the Patriots have not had since, one would think, before Brady and Belichick arrived together on the scene in the 2000 campaign. And 11 straight seasons winning the division, 17 straight seasons with at least double-digit wins, and so on and so forth. Now let's get to their 2020 schedule. So there is the 2020 schedule for your New England Patriots, who open up the season at home in Gillette against the Miami Dolphins before starting out on a lengthy road trip all the way to Seattle before coming home for the Las Vegas Raiders. A highly anticipated trip to Kansas City. As you can see, 5 nationally televised games for the New England Patriots, whose head coach joining us right now from what appears to be Nike the Dog's favorite draft seat, if I'm not mistaken. That is Bill Belichick. How are you, Coach?
I'm good, Rich. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. It's good to see a schedule. It's good to see you. And I'm wondering, what is the first order of business when you take a look at a schedule for the first time?
Well, I think, it's to start on the early opponents and make sure that we're ready to go on those. Anything that we might need to install in training camp to, make sure that we have those ready for the early part of the season. That'll be part of the conversation. And just get to refamiliarize ourselves with that.
And then opening up at home with Miami is first order of business. You'll either see a Harvard man coming home or Tua at that point in time. At what point do you start to move your mind in that direction, Coach?
Yeah. Well, again, I think the main thing in training camp for us is to make sure that we know what we're doing and we're ready to go. So I'm sure we'll have plenty of time. Assuming the preseason goes somewhat the way it has in the past, we'll have time to evaluate the preseason games and, get an idea of, what players we'll be facing, on our early opponents.
So in terms of getting ready for your season, right now, your quarterback room, there's a very familiar face in Brian Hoyer, and then there's Jared Stidham. A lot of conversation about what's going on in your evaluation. Is that the quarterback room you're planning on going into the season with?
Yeah, well, that's where we are. And, you never know what's going to happen down the road. But, we feel like we have 4 good players there. We added Brian and Jamar to Hoyer and Stidham, right, who we, added Hoyer and had Stidham from last year. So, like to work with all those guys, and we'll see how it goes.
Okay, and in terms of Stidham, what can you tell people about his potential readiness for the season, what you have seen of him that the rest of the world really has not and is wondering a lot about, quite frankly?
Well, Stid worked really hard last year. Was our backup quarterback the entire season. And I know he's working hard in the offseason. He's, made a lot of progress in terms of understanding our offense and understanding opponent defenses, like all players do. So I'm sure he'll get out there and be ready to go, be prepared, compete hard, and we'll see where it takes us.
Okay, I don't know if you're aware of 1 year ago today, it was me, literally 1 year ago today, it was me, you, Chris Collinsworth, on the set of NFL 100 All-Time Team Show, which was just a dynamite program. And if I had told you that day, Coach, when we were saying goodbye to each other, that it would leave you as an Emmy-nominated person, what would you have told me?
I wouldn't have believed that. Yeah, I would have laughed at it. That would have been a good joke. But that was such a great experience. I love those days. I love that whole experience of revealing the NFL Top 100, and it was really a highlight to be able to do that with you and Chris and all the players that participated and all the ones that we were able to reveal. So great experience, one that I'll never forget, and I'll always cherish that time and the entire production of it. Another great job by NFL Films.